Today I want to talk to you about the undeniable truth of creative energy, the basis of it, the nitty-gritty of it, the undeniable truth of it. Is going to be the energy, explaining the energy on the inside versus the outside, as within, so without, the different spectrums that we can hold within and we can hold space for, and what the difference between an illuminated soul versus living in the shadows is really like. So there's going to be a lot of information, so please keep an open mind, open ears. I'm gonna have to talk fast because I've got a lot to keep up with you on. So like I said, open mind, open ears. Thank you, Elohim and Jehovah, to be with us right now in this video message. And I hope that you feel the energy just as much as I do while doing this video, because I feel it, and I hope you know why at the end. So, we're pretty much gonna pick up with energy and leaving off from my last video of let's balance those chakras out, and all those beautiful colors that we talked about, the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, purple, all the colors of the rainbow. They symbolize so much for us, and they bring happiness and joy, and ooh, look at that. And spiritually, it's a bridge into the sky to cross one side of the earth into the other. It also symbolizes hope and an inner awakening, lighting our souls to the spiritual realm. Please understand that this is not a one-to-one relation. It doesn't just go boom, boom. Color is light, and therefore only the rainbow colors have that one-on-one connection with the spectrum of the frequency. And frequency is at the rate of which light radiates or vibrates. The frequency is also the way sound is given and received in Mishnah. Like blue, for example, let's go back to blue. Blue is the most common, alluring, reflected color for many reasons. It's calm. It doesn't invoke an emotion negatively, such as red. Blue is the color of our element water, which is 80% of our earth. It's also 80% of our cells in our brain. It may be a single frequency to our eyes, but in reality, that one frequency is a combination of all of those frequencies, especially the bigger that they are. Even if it just looks like one color, it could be just one color. Because when we see blue, that means that specific frequency of the specific spectrum, the blue spectrum, has reflected the photons that make up the light, interacting inside of it like elastic, self-continual expansion as we are within, without, within the fields of the atoms, to create the blue surface that is not absorbing them. Any other color that's being absorbed by the elevation of the atom's surface of the higher energy levels is going to just continue producing and continue on. Even the blue being reflected won't always stay that way, because energy is a constant, just like we are inside. It's continually expanding on its own. So, sorry, I had to grab my stuff, I forgot. Okay. So let's look at the soul of one, perfect example of a balanced emotional human being. All rainbows, all chakras untouched. Your red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, you can see that, and purple. So your root, sacral, solar plexus, heart, third eye, throat, third eye, crown. So all the chakras untouched. And for those of you on your spiritual journey, this is why you're here. And if you're not here for this, then why are you here? The higher we elevate ourselves from our own healing and gain true divinity, the more our chakras hold so much truth. And we have that rainbow inside of us. They are the chakras of life. They're the chakras of love, They're suckers of earth. Mind, body, and soul. It's all connected. So, with what you've seen since I've started this project, whether you've been interested in it genuinely or interested in it to see how my mental state is, let me just teach you what God has shown me and why I'm for humanity and why I'm for God's people and why I have all of these assumptions or disagreements with anybody who gets offended, which that's on you, baby, not me. So this is what Jehovah has shown me. I come from Snohomish, Washington, Snohomish School District. I didn't know this information 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago. It completely came to me. Jehovah led me to this through evangelism. I would just love to share it with you. So please keep an open mind. Professional educators across the globe have been stating that mainstream economists simply created their own data, deliberately disobeying true scientific data once upon a time. What humans believed the mouth of all of these scientists. We did. Our ancestors did. The control. Our ancestors brainwashing their generations to come unless a cycle breaker is created like me. It isn't just about inner child wounds, it's also about what we are taught. During this growth period for me in this beautiful, freeing experience of evangelism, I've been given the truth in my mind, and now I just have to explain it to you. Along with the process of this, and why I was in total hermit mode, I came across the Collatz conjecture. When I saw that it was the hardest math problem still unsolved to this day, I did not understand why, because as soon as I read why it was such a hard yet simple solution, I knew it. I had always known it. My whole life was a lie, and the truth was not even the truth at all. I immediately became sad and full of Jehovah's energy that I feel now, because I'm able to resonate with it because of that true faith within myself. With God's energy, full of anger and rage and love for his people. Where do you think all my energy comes from in my videos, you guys? The Collatz conjecture is defined as a solution whose value is not in the result. It is hope that attempts and that the eventual solution will generate new mathematics that will be useful in solving other problems whose results are important. Important. Because mainstream word of mouth was believed. It has destroyed God's plan. Important because it will awaken the eyes of many whom have been living under control instead of living free in their own opinions. The conjecture formula states that the function of n is equal to the value of n if it is divided by 2. It also states that if the value of n is odd and add 1 more, to then always have a value of 1. Because everything always has the value of 1 to go from. So it's something positive, a starting point, right? Continuing on, if the previous term is even, then the next term is 1/2 of the previous term. So 1 1/2. What if it's 1 1/2 times 2? It's 3, right? So 1 1/2. If the previous term is odd, then the next term is 3 times that, because you're multiplying the 3, 1 1/2. It's 3 times plus the 1, because there's always 1 for something to start and go somewhere, right? We've always been taught that there's always a number 1. So this is how the formula is written out. Function n divided by 2 if even, multiply n by 3 and add 1 if it is odd. So if the number is even, divide by 2. If the number is odd, multiply by 3, creating 3 more frequencies. But you're still adding 1 more. Just because there is something there, something positive, for sure somewhere at the beginning of each frequency, there's always that beginning and the end that's created. It's there, we just can't see it. But we're still going to account for it because we know it's there. We just can't find it. We're going to make shit up in the process. The Collatz process will eventually always be number one, regardless of what number you are working with to begin with and regardless of what formula you're using. But why are we multiplying by 3? Why 3? Only 2 will not give a positive value. Sure, it's even. But what about 4? Well, the 4th would mean that there would be 1 extra frequency to connect the other 3. Therefore, we do not need to add 1 more because a total of 4 would close in that frequency, that energy circuit, and it would continue within itself over and over through continual creative self-expansion, right? But what's creating that from then on? Doesn't all energy have a positive and a negative end? Like, a battery or a magnet? So if that energy circuit is now closed, it must elevate upwards, right? If that energy is trapped, it's still inside, radiating all the energy it's created with, and now the energy it's continuing to create will grow quickly, intensely, sparking through this element fire that's within ourselves too, and plasma to continually create again through math, science, creativity, and spirituality. This now creates the 5th element, the 5th point in the energy circuit. So we all know that Einstein came up with energy is mc squared. Energy is mass creation squared. So energy is mass creation squared, mirroring, because it's multiplying it by 2, right? Reproduction is where this comes in, continuing that energy. Now, the Collatz conjecture says this: energy starts off and it's going to spit off with the 1 and the 2 and the 2, because there's always 3 ways to go about it, right? There's the imaginary plus 1, 1, 2, 3, just to get it to close because it's there. The imaginary plus 1 to continue this energy, okay? What God has shown me, the creation collective or creative collective, whichever, you have to have that 5th spot of that energy. Sure, you have the 1, 2, 3, and the 4 here, which is still 3 plus that 1 to make that energy closed circuit. But now we have that 5th element, that 5th spot to create and combust, to continue energy mirroring. These 2 expressions that come together to be transformed or to evolve, they have to mirror each other by applying the usual properties of commutativity, association, and distribution, which is, commutativity is multiplication, associativity is addition, and distribution is creativity. So oh yeah, shit. I should have done this. The energy circuit. Purple. This. Making that 5th point a new point, and now it is number 1 all over again. Repeating the process in this polynomial sphere of frequency. The second part of my research that led me to the Riemann hypothesis, which he's known for prime numbers and stacking, and the number 23. If anybody's known the number 23. Polynomial functions such as the sphere you and I are in right now, the basic building blocks for symmetry. There are 2 sides to everything, but technically there's 24. A polynomial is an expression that can be built from constants, symbols, and variables by addition, multiplication, and exponents to a non-negative integer power. So these expressions are constant, symbols, and variables by addition, multiplication, and exponents to a powerful positive number. Something that Riemann also discovered was commutativity is only commutative if and only it's a balanced mirror. The value is the same and it will always have a positive 1, right? So this is what he had founded, was 2346, 2346. If you are aware, 46 chromosomes in the human body, 23 as well, just, vice versa. Only one that can get started there. Only numbers that replicate this way. Human body. So, no matter what this flow is, whether it's 46, 46, X or Y equals 46, Y equals 46, you're still going to take those even formula, divide by 2 to get 23, and it's still going to equal the same and balance out. Same thing, you're still going to take divided by 2 because of these values, and it's still going to balance out with X mirrors X versus X mirrors Y, because it's a prime number. So in this whole property, it's also been discovered that primes are the atoms of math, but they're also the atoms of everything else. 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, he, Adam, Eve, through self-expansion, through reproduction, we and me. 1, 2, 3, 1 and 23 equals 5. Atom, energy, and B plus, positive protons, blood, energy. An operation that does not satisfy symmetrically will not cause a reaction because it will not and cannot resonate. So this one comes in. So, an operation that does not satisfy symmetrically will not cause a reaction because it will not and cannot resonate. It just can't. These commutative operations, total 5 here, this is where energy stems from. So mass creation with 2 squared, right? 2 mirrored back to back. So we have, the 3 cells here, 2 cells here, branching together to make the 5, right? So really what this looks like, these polynomial spheres over and over and over, connecting through prime numbers and stacking and these building blocks and these atoms. This is the start, and this next sphere will be formed, completely balancing out 5, and this is 23 here, 23 here, 23, 23, 23, 23, 23, 23, 23, 23, 23, 23, 23, and it just continues, starting at these points where these, pretty much these values of 0 start in, but they're actually values of 1 because they're sparking new creation, new reproduction, distributing. As these continue to delete through and separate and expand this way, growing and growing, new ones are dividing this way through that energy, that 5th point, that 5th element, to continue expanding within itself as it's continuing this way in those rings as well. Now, I don't have the margin space really to continue all the way down here, but just think of how much is within this whole little beehive here, right? Just think, when you open up a beehive, how do bees work with their hives on the inside? It's really complex numbers are taken into that, no matter if it's a beehive, no matter if it's the universe, no matter if it's a human being. It's still complex, completely. So complex that, say you're looking at the top of it here, the top of the sphere, the top of the earth, the top of an eyeball. Open your eyes too. Forgot. Open your mind, open your ears, open your eyes. Top of this eyeball, top of this world, right? 5. that balance of the chirograph in between that I'm going to show you in a little bit here, besides all of these different spectrums and spheres and directions, because each time something stacks, it's also going to be moving like this every single time that it stacks, over and over and over and over, constantly elevating until it's all the way up. Energy has nowhere to go but up. It can go down. It can. But when it's being elevated, when it's being practiced, when it's being positive, it goes up. So within here, I just showed you guys that no matter if it's alphabet, God being A, me, you being B's and C's, 23's here, 2 sets of eyes, 4 sets of eyes, 6 sets of eyes, all of that. We can do dots if you want. And we can do 23 if you want. It just doesn't matter to which way. So now, what Collatz was saying is that there's only 3. So if there's only 3, then what's missing here? What's missing? The inside, the whole connection, that energy circuit is not closed, even though he's going to add 1 somewhere because it's got to close somewhere, and that's all he could do, right? So not only is this whole energy circuit not closed, but this one cannot form either, and that prime stacking is not going to happen. Energy that is not equal in weight or symmetrical or equal in polarity, it will not be successful. It will not and cannot resonate. Collatz settled on 3, not only because it's the lowest valued prime number, but because all prime numbers can be multiplied and stacked in the same energy point, no matter the direction, just like cells. His formula does work in the rule of 3s, but also works in the rule of 5s, rule of 7s. There's so many complex formulas because we're talking about 12 sides here to this. And it's not just this, it's everything in our world, because we all stem from light. This whole discovery is really from a rule of 1 to a rule of 12s. 12 dimensions, 24 sides. 12 divided by 3 is 4. But 4 parts, that's closing it off. There's nowhere else for it to go. There's no more room for reproduction, no creation. So let's just do 4 parts and we'll add 1, because we're going to account for that 1 somewhere, right? Like Collatz thought. Equaling 5. What no one else has even believed when attacking this super hard math problem, even scientists, even Albert Einstein himself, is that there really is one source of energy, one main source. And it's energy. It's God. It's me. It's you. It's we. It's us. Don't you see? They never accounted for the main source of energy. And I feel so sad. Collatz counted the growth as 1, but not the original output. Einstein didn't open his mind either, realizing that an eyeball is needed to reflect light in the first place. From his eyeball, his viewpoint, it's needed to even create a frequency to begin with. Closed minds are tragic minds, and I'm about to show you why keeping an open mind is so important. Because it's God. God is our main source. He's our main source of light. Scientists and mathematicians are so logical. They cannot simply understand creativity through spirituality enough to see and know that God is our 5th element. So when Einstein checked out honeybees' movement, he discovered the way that they move with energy, right? And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I'm bringing up the bees, and I'm bringing up the beehive. So this is kind of just my interpretation of Einstein not really looking, you know, because he counts 1, 2, 3, you know. Oh, that makes sense because that's what Collatz did, and that's what math's been since someone just discovered it. And they went with it because it worked. Of course it works, but they didn't finish it out, and it's not what God intended because that isn't the truth. So, you know, we're looking at mass creation times 2 here. It's 3, but then you've got to have the times 2 here with the 6 as well. So then the shadows of 1, 2, 3 shadows, 4. You know, expanding out this way too. 1, 2, 3. There's only 2 here, 23. But 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. It's the whole closing the energy circuit plus that one more still equals 5. This rainbow is what God sees. This rainbow is what we see. This rainbow is our backbone. It holds all of our chakras. You know? Each light stream is one of his chakras, deep within from his all-seeing eye, the universe surrounding his soul, within us, without us, as without us, even around us, the universe that we are in God's eyeball. His soul is us because he is holy number 23. We are number 23. You are number 23. Energy is number 23. We've been taught rainbows to start with red, which is true. Humans do see red, the very first number, very first color, And it symbolizes our root chakra. If red is number 1, why does it have to be at the bottom? Shouldn't our crown chakra, the purple, be number 1 since it's our highest, most powerful of them all? There's more than one solution, but one thing is true, is that everything is connected. The root is just as equal to the crown. Inner balance, where any balance is lacking, whether it's rainbows, whether it's science, math, creation, spirituality, government, they must be balanced. All inner outer workings of the light spectrum must be balanced to survive. Look. So, what I have shown you here, okay, is in our eye. You know, all of this within here, continually stacking here just to break it down. You know, this is energy, Jehovah, universe, zodiacs, constellations, planets, all of that down here as well, because it's mirroring. So just think of how big this universe really is. You know, going through here, here's that energy spot again, creating that soul, that 2, the 1, the 2, the 3. 4 is the universe, 5 being this, within and without. It's always expanding like this, always expanding, always, always, always. You know, whichever negative or positive it is. So, this is another one that I've drawn out to kind of show you guys as well as, you know, God is our master creator. He's 5th power, energy. So if we take him and all 5 of us, you know, because each of us reflect the person inside who also needs to resonate with us too, our soul, a perfect heaven on earth for 2 people plus room for 1 more. So here's the 2 people when we're reflected, our better half, our spouse, our husband, our wife, each side, right? Well, then inside them, they also have that same need to fill. So then you have 2 23s with this one person, 2 23s, 2 23s. And then that 3rd power comes in, that 1 more is God, no matter what. You know, you have to have everything to balance out. Adam and B, A plus B, Adam and Eve, to continue all of this, to keep going, to continue reproduction. So when we're looking at that eye, this is where those cells, those chirographs start. Me, you, Jehovah. That energy circuit, that fifth element is God. Elohim, he's our master creator, but Jehovah was his son, is his son. And he deserves every spot in our heart just as well because he died for us. Energy starting all back over here. That fire coming in, the plasma, creating more. This whole soul, all this energy, turning into energy even more, starting through here again. 1, 2, 3, 4, plus the one more to break through. So while this is divided here, this is divided here. While it's dividing this way, over and over and over, continually expanding. And this is how they're created with, when we look at just that energy flow. Here's that main spot. 1 through 12 this way, 1 through 12 that way, 1 through 12 this way, 1 through 12 that way. 12 dimensions. So, energy through mass creation. I figured this out. God showed it to me when I wrote out our alphabet, 26 letters. And I'm like, okay, 26 letters. 26 minus 23 is 3. So that counts for God, Jehovah, me. That counts for me, Jason, God. That counts for you, your person, God. That counts for you, God, and Jehovah. Do you see how well this is stacking and how well it's just, all connected? So I wrote this out, and then I added the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, all the way down this way. But the way that God intended us at that time to do all of this was to count downwards. So I've extended the 10, 11, the 12, the 13th, the 14th, the 15th, the 16th, all the way down this way. These first 4 are so important. Everybody thinks it's the first 3, but that 4th needs to come into play for that energy to close here to continue, which is the basis of mass creation through creation and spirituality. And then this comes all the way through, divides through earth energy, starting all over again, which is why these are the also continual prime numbers, going all the way through this way to come down to W, which is letter 23, 23 and 5, energy, we, energy, we. 23 plus 5 is also 5 more days difference in the earth cycle, which I'm going to bring up here in just a second. So coming back down to this way, we needed 3 receiving ends to continue this cycle, right? So XYZ chromosomes, XYZ is also, divide and continuing the basis through math and science. So then how each one is created is that light comes through with that power, and each reflecting through this and through this as each one of these go, almost like 2 eyes, the balance symmetrical, the windmill there that we need to continue that power flow with 4 instead of 3, So when I did this is how 1 second is broken down, 1 minute, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. And it just escalates up this way because as it's expanding out, it's also expanding up. As within, so without. Okay, so that is also how I figured out this. The Julian calendar, which we'll talk about in a little bit too, all comes into play this way. And this is how energy starts through the basis of the calendar. Highway 1, my little Boeing messenger the other day, you remember? Making sense now? So that 4th point that we need, that holy 23, not just 23, me and you, it's also Jehovah. Not only have we not ancestrally believed in God, we have shunned Jehovah. We killed him. He died for us. when I was researching Holy Number 23, it boiled down to Discordianism, which is something that Riemann also, talked about as with the discord in all of this math, then we can find harmony. And Discordianism is worshiping the goddess Eris, who surveys the land of chaos. The opposite of ordered land. Land that's a joke disguised as a religion, disguised as a joke. Goddess of, surveying land of chaos, though, she kind of sounds like a goddess of protection to me if it's reflected right in my faith, right? So, anyway. Now let's pretend that this rainbow is you. This is you. How do you feel? Because we know that our chakras are not like this one bit. No one has. Mine, they're still scarred. They're still there. I still got a TLC in my garden. With no balance, the anxiety and the fear and the emotion, what do you think the chakras would look like? If they're heavy, they're weighted down, they're burdened, the shadows are dark. Welcome to the shadows. So your root, your sacral chakra is pretty much all you got left when you don't believe in anything else, when you don't feel anything else, when you have no self-love, self-care, self-TLC, when you've just let the brainwashing of other people's egos take over you. This is what your chakras start to look like, sweetheart. There's literally no other rainbow left, because this is how miserable you are on the inside. Look at this black. You're dying, you're rotting. How do you think that these feel? How do you think that these vibrate within yourself? How do you think that they vibrate with others? What happens when there's depression? What happens when there's death? It's gone. Now, what if we envision that the other side of the spectrum here? And that's what this is. Every single spectrum has a negative to it. All of these prime numbers even have a negative. They completely do. And that's why this two formulas of this Collatz conjecture, they are true to an extent when the rule of threes. But we need to have multiple formulas for these all to reflect the rule of three. And then we need to have multiple formulas to reflect the rule of 4, rule of 5, rule of 6, all of those. Where the negative polynomial sphere and its frequencies repolarized and gained momentum to accelerate the the positive direction. So, if we're changing direction because we can do so, what do you think is going to happen? We're not dying. We've now realized that we have soul. That we want to live. We don't want to give up, because we know that we are meant for something more. I know that God did not intend for me to kill myself because of what I'm showing you now. You can choose to remain dead and rotting inside and being a complete jerk to others, or you can choose to live. Choose to enlighten yourself. Choose to heal. Choose to help, yourself and others. You can choose to recover. You can choose to recover. You really can. Now, this is just God's chakra. My chakra, your chakra. Regardless of the color. Just imagine with me for a minute. This is where your prime stacking comes in, your number 23, your Riemann hypothesis, all of that. This is where it comes in. So that first chakra now needs to mirror this one, right? It needs to be symmetrical. This is your other half. This is your other person. Right, so quickly, let me put these on here for you so we can balance this out. Because not only do you have to work on yourself for these chakras, but you also have double chakra really inside of you. So that's why it's just the common practice of self-care and constantly loving yourself, constantly staying true to yourself, constantly not putting up with other people's crap. You know, anything that does not resonate with your energy, you double protect it, because you double inside you. You guys are just gonna have to deal with some purples because I don't have any more blues. So pretend that's another blue. All right, there's another third eye that's wrapped, right? And then there's the next crown. So regardless if anybody has filled that second chakra for you, you know, whether you have a Jason, whether you don't have anybody, it doesn't matter. You still need to take care of it. You still need to take care of yourself. This is your spiritual backbone. You know, it doesn't matter. You still need to take care of it. As within, so without. You know, it doesn't even matter who it is. It's even me and you talking right now. I am taking care of your root chakra. I'm here to help you with your sacral chakra. I'm here to help you with all of these because I care about my chakra and I care about yours, so we can there vibrate together. We don't want our person to reflect their nastiness onto us, just as we don't want to onto them, right? So this is why toxic is toxic. This is why people, including family, walk away. You know, how are these energies supposed to resonate? One is polarizing, you know, let's talk about these for a second. One is polarizing, one is depolarizing. One is positive and one is negative. And no matter which way you are, we all have a little bit of negative, we all have a little bit of positive, hopefully mostly positive. But this little bit of negative, it's always going to be there. You're always going to be fighting your ego. You're always going to be fighting others' egos. You're always going to be fighting pride, egotistical, haughty control elsewhere. You have to master your emotions. You have to take off that illusion in your game of Monopoly. Why in the hell would you expect someone to stay and put up with your internal emotional crap when science says it's physically and physiologically impossible? Now, when a person has that full inner peace, regardless of how their shadows look, how their chakras look, it doesn't matter. Still look at this harmony. This harmony from all that discord that we went through, right? All this harmony when these two people are balanced. But, you know, what's missing here? You know, sure, I can put it around this way, like this cute little bracelet. But what's missing? What's missing? Yeah, so there's one side of it. But I need 4 sides. 4 sides to completely reflect. Right? There's the red and the red. There's the purple. So I can bend it completely like this, up in half. You know, like this and like this. Or it can go like this, or it can go like this. It doesn't matter. Either way, we need to have those 4 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a closed energy circuit. But where's the 4th and the 5th spot that we talked about? Where's Jehovah? Where's Elohim? We're not going to be able to elevate. We're not going to be able to illuminate. Sure, we can say I'm all healed from my trauma. But if you don't have any faith, you ain't getting anywhere, honey. You know, we need that 3rd part. We need that 4th part. The 3rd part is our person, our one soulmate intended on earth. For heaven on earth between 2 people with 3 levels of consciousness. You know, God's always there. He's our master creator. We come from him. He comes from the universe. It's all connected. that fourth spot that we need in order to be balanced. It's Jehovah. Jehovah needs to be within us. He died for us. He died for us. And there's people that, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut because I just feel so sad. How dare us believe that God never exists? To believe it because someone else told us. To fight against others who do believe in him, who believe in you because you come from him. Do not argue with me anymore because I'm protecting you. I'm not playing your game anymore because I'm trying to tell you the truth. I'm trying to show you right now. Are your ears still open? Is your mind? Is your heart? You will not be able to get anywhere without faith. That third eye in your crown, then now being elevated as well. Because you have that no. Because you are capable of this. Because you can fail. Because you can do what no one else told you could do. You can master those emotions. Look at how far it's gotten me here. Look at where it's gotten me to show you. Sorry, I look like a kindergarten classroom right now with all these pipe cleaners everywhere. This energy is really rocking me, you guys. I want to bawl and I can't. Powering through, I'm choosing not to cry because I need to show you this. I need to show you because we need to save God. Okay, well, so there we go. So now, how much more momentum do you think that person has when they're truly awakened? They have that true divination like me and what I've been trying to explain. No wonder I can elevate so much better while I'm, circulating and stacking and stacking and stacking because I have the power within me. I have that no. I have that energy. I have God within me, Elohim. I have Jesus within me, Jehovah, and Yeshua. I can't even talk because the energy is just so much. Jehovah died for us. In his final voice, he yelled out, "I commit to you, Father." He was ready to commit his soul for us. He never once doubted God because he knew he existed. He knew where he come from because Jehovah was him and we are Jehovah. He died that we could have a heaven on earth, and I'm sorry, but if being held captive in a controlled country through manipulation, whether it's geographically, financially, spiritually, pharmaceutically, if that's heaven on earth, the poor are getting poorer and the rich are getting richer, those of you that think that you have power above Elohim, you are sadly mistaken because Elohim does not play. First book of John, chapter 4, verse 4. Greater is he that is in you, that is in the world. When our Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit are within us, 1, 2, 3, plus 1. All three parties entangled, creating its own chirograph. This right here, what Albert Einstein based upon. And a few other scientists, I think. I can't remember in all my research. So I'm having a really hard time right now. All energy must go somewhere, connecting, creating force, illuminating our crown. The no. God is our spirit now within, not creating the fourth spot. He already did that, Jehovah. He creates the fifth spot. Fifth is that energy. Multiplying through creation, spiritually, numbers, letters, lights, colors, humans, and animal cells. Light through primal numbers, primally stacked to create mass. Mass creation is solid. Primates? I believe it. We've evolved since then. As we're evolved in the last 20 years, where do you think we all started from? There's not one correct scientist. It's just the one above all in his absolute truth. Wars on religion, wars on politics, wars on Earth's climate, wars on money, a man-made manipulation tool to keep variables controlled. COVID vaccines, a man-made manipulation tool to keep humans controlled. For those of you easily offended, I've got a little bit more to show you. It's going to be a lot, so buckle up, Buttercup. I don't know how much more else I can make it more clear, as Jehovah's energy is coming out of me right now. I kind of just want to put a little extra spin on this from what else I have found. So, Riemann's hypothesis, was discovered, born, created in 1859. Now, I, for fun, broke down 1859 by two sides of the mirror, how God intended application and whatnot. So, what we're going to do is we're going to see, I can't even think. There's just so much energy coming through. 1 plus 8 is 9. 5 plus 9 is 14. Now, I can do what I need to do with dividing by 3 if odd over here, but I'm just going to divide it by 9, which is 3 life cycles. Because, work smarter, not harder. So this equals 1. First, this is the dividing from the 5, right? This is even. So I'm actually going to add them together to make the 5 again, instead of just adding the 1 more. Different formula, I guess. And because the 1 does exist, I'm going to keep it. So then that way, it's 5. 5 divided by 2 is 250. 250 divided by 2 is 1 1/4. So 1 1/4 times 4 for each total value, those 4 point spots, right? To make up the dollar, to make up the full 1 energy circuit, to make up 1. Since God does exist, not 3 life cycles, it's really 4. So therefore, since this happens, 1, 2, 3, 4, so now I'm counting. If we're going to add these 2 together, there's the 1, there's the 1 again, plus the 4th. There's the 1, there's the 1 again, plus the 4th. Positive energy, nowhere to go, receiving end, frequency. These are now frequencies times 2, because they have to mirror each other. So 1 whole conscious self plus the space for more energy. One whole conscious self with 3 levels of consciousness for heaven on earth, plus room for one more. These frequencies, they're always radiating, they're always ready to go, just like our outlets, right? No matter what this outlet is. This 0.25, this comes up through where that 5 energy comes into play and combusts with all that extra energy. This is earth. This is elemental matter. Fire, water, air. The other one, earth. I already said it, but I can't. You guys, I'm serious. This is really heavy. And as angry as I feel also, I can't help but just feel suppressed. So this is this earth element that comes into play, whether it's cell production, whether it's mass production, it doesn't matter. It's always there, that earth element, so earth, fire, water, air. So now, these right here, actually, I'm gonna show you guys this first. I think this would be better. So this is going back to this whole 28-day earth cycle, right? 23 minus 5. So physically, there's those extra 5 days that come into play because of the 4 extra spots in between for the leap year. We'll get to that too in just a minute. So I decided to do 28 and divide it through. So 28 divided by 2 is 14. Divided by 2 is 7. So that equals 3.5. So then if I come over here, 14, I need to add one more for the one that has not been added for, which is 15. Divided by 2, 7. Plus the 3 for those life cycles there is 10. Divided by 2 is 5 and 250. So now 350 minus 250 is 1. There's that one that comes into play, right? Just from the earth cycles alone and the math there that was intended through application. So when I come down here and I put that 5 there and we're accentuating that radiation energy out, one side of it being that 350 and one side of it being the 250. 3.5, 2.5. Here's your atom. Here's your atom right here. So you need those extra little quarters, those 0.25s, to make that 1/2 through one part of that reflection, the multiplication, in order to continue energy, to continue that expansion. Continuing it. 0.5 made up of energy. So 0.5 is just another one. And then once you completely do that reflection of no matter what's growing, 0.25, then you have that 50 cents, and then you, 50 cents, the 50, the 0.5 of earth matter, and then you're gonna double that, and that comes the dollar, the one that no one is accounting for. Look at how simple I figured all of this out. It's just primally stacked over and over to create through fire, through plasma, through air, through water, everything. It's all connected. These are the symbols for air, water, fire, and earth. And no matter which direction you put them, north, south, east, west, wherever, it doesn't matter the polarity of the energy. What's going to happen is you're going to stack them, just like that. Boom, boom. Water, fire. So then earth is coming back in and air is going to come back in, right? So I'm going to do it again over here, step by step, so you guys can see. There's fire, water, earth, air. These right here are mutable because they can have that open end. These ones are cardinal. So now imagine, having to stack it over and over, every which way, you know, over and over, until you finally can reflect, and break it down. Okay? Our whole universe is a 24-dimensional star. So is the sun. 12-dimensional. Symmetrical makes 24. Because there's 2 sides to everything, 4 sides to everything, 12 sides to everything. God's side, Jehovah's side, Yeshua's side, my side. My side, God's side, Jehovah's side, Jason's side. Jason's side, God's side, Jehovah's side, Yeshua's side. Jason's side, God's side, Jehovah's side, my side. So on and so forth. 6 degrees of separation, sound pretty familiar? Oh, it expands way more than that. So now, this whole, photoelectric effect that Einstein discovered, light flight theory now is what I've been told as the messenger. Okay, so I did write this, and God's reminding me to remind you guys about it. Also, this is a symbol for your heart chakra. And I actually have more information on this that I can share at a later time. I can also put it down in the comments on here on the Wounds Into Light Facebook. But I also, want to share with you, when you're mirroring this, when you're mirroring the Star of David, what does it look like, really? And I'm going to show you. If you cut this in half, you have a sun. You have a sun no matter which way you cut it in half. And 3 there, 4 there. 3, 1, 2, 3. Cut it this way. Receiving ends, 1, 2, 3, 4. Through here, it's 5. So now, to prove that this is even more connected, we're going to do this application again as how science and math have created it. If God does not exist, I'm going to take out that 1, even though we're accounting for it anyway. If energy does not exist, I'm taking out the 5, even though we're accounting for it anyway. So here's the 8, the 9, right? So then I'm going to divide that by 2, equals 4. Divide it by 2 again, equals 2. Divide it by 2 again, equals 1. I'm going to come over here, divided by 3, divided by 3 again, 1. Because this is odd, obviously, even. But I'm not even going to add anything, because that's the whole point of this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All these are even, which this is still the rule here and whatnot, and when it comes to that, but they're not opened. They're closed. Repeating my goldfish infinity symbol within itself. But then here's the 2 here that this 3 needs in order to make 5 to continue going. I still divided it a total of 5 times because this 1 does exist. It has to exist. We'll continue going a little bit more. So now if we divide energy, 5, here's your 5 little, your ones, your markers, your energy circuits right here. So here comes that spark. So then when we divide it by 2, you're going to get the 1, and the 1 and the 2, the 1 and 2 down here because it's split, right? But then you still have that 1/2 of the cell mirroring on this side here. Here comes the 4th spot, making that energy happen to connect these 2 together to get the 3, to get the total of the 5. And then it's just going to continue on. And this is 23 here. This is 23 here, 23 here, 23 here, which is really goes on like I showed you earlier, 23, 23, 23, 23, 23, just in that one cell alone. 5 sets of 23. This will continue going so many times, reflecting at least until that 24. Negatively dying back down, right here too, depending on how this formula needs to happen with these mutable signs. And this is how, when someone's born, this is where mutable and cardinal signs from. So usually, at least from what I think, it's depending on the month that you're born. The month that you're born is a mutable sign or cardinal sign, which of course that's what we know as zodiac, but because it's often even and odd numbers, I'm still trying to break down all that time, and I can break it down for you. It's beautiful. I have a lot more to show than just this. So continue on reflecting, building that, huge dimensional, all that. So I also want to break this back down again really quick, because when we come to this 5 spot in human cells and having this outlet, this is how the energy is flowing through the chirograph, through the cell. Energy points here, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? For all of that to continue going. Energy is going this way, it's flowing up this way positively, flowing back down this way. But it's also going to dissect here with this energy point and flow this way, continuing this. When this one branches out, it's a receiving end, but it's also flowing that way still, and it's going back this way negatively to bounce back around, because it's pulling through that energy like the moon, like the sun orbiting. So now, when this 5th point is created, it bounces that energy back up through this way, causing a whole nother super, spontaneous bust right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a whole nother spectrum, causing pregnancy. So we talked about Earth cycles, right? One more thing that I want to show is 23 halo, holy number 23, because there's 24 time zones in our Earth, because one eye is always looking. And I kind of just expanded it out for you from God's view, this halo, number 23, also 5, within this, as within this, all of these, and I'm going to get to that in just a minute, but I expanded out 23 highways of energy. Whether this is Boeing or not, I don't know. Maybe. I could be wrong. I could be wrong about all of this, but this is just what I found. So I wrote out 23 energy highways. If you count the space in between each one, it's 24 for those who need it. So I'm only doing 3 examples, but this is what each single energy highway of 23, energy prime stacking of earth growth of us, any of it. It's going to branch out like this. And there comes that pattern. Has to repeat, has to balance. 2 on that one side, 3 on this other side, and then 2 on that side, 2 on the other side. Repeating itself, reflecting back to back, 2 to 3, 2 to 3, 2 to 3. Expanding over time with energy. More polynomial spheres, more God's eyes, more universes. To where eventually the whole thing will stop and just be this, like our earth, right? You know, trees, leaves, cell, I, God, you, me, energy, light, color, food, growth, time, animals, sound, the ocean, polynomial earth with continual polynomials stacked to create each hologram until mass creation stacks into solid. Just gonna leave that there. We can talk about that later. But industry, control, climate change. God never intended for this. Just keep this in mind. This 102. I'm gonna bring it back up here in just a second as when we wrap this up. So the last thing that I want to show you real quick is talking about leap years. So leap years consist of the same cycles as Earth cycle, which is 28 days. A soul cycle is 23 days because God's soul is 23. And then intellectual, we add 5 more days, so that's a total of 33 days. I believe it was 45 BC, Julius Caesar pretty much, founded leap year, created Julian calendar, whatnot. He had one rule about it, was that any year that was evenly divisible by 4 was a leap year. Evenly divisible by 4 parts, right? Back then, February was the end of the calendar, kind of like a fiscal year type of thing. I'm not quite sure how it got changed. Maybe that's something I need to research as well. So let's stay back on that. But so going back to this whole mainstream economist calling out bullshit and what scientific data is actually proving, especially with the Earth's temperature of 102 degrees Celsius, our scientists now and our academic professionals are now saying that we won't make it past 2025. So 2025, we won't make it here on Earth. 2025, unless we make absolute changes, which I'm sorry, there's so much damage. It is going to take more than 5 years, 3 years, 4 years for us to fix all of this that we've done to our Earth. So 3 to 4 years left when science is shown to be wrong. Let's deduct 1, since they do not think our heaven on earth, our creator, exists. Now that's down 2 to 3 years. So now 2024, 2023, getting close, guys. 102 degrees Celsius versus 101.5 degrees Celsius. 1.02 degrees Celsius. I'm correcting myself. Now that's down to 2 to 3 years. Now, from all of my learning, my messaging, everything that God has shown me, and if you think about it, the simple answer really to all of this that logically does not need to be explained, but summer is here. Summer's coming. We are 6 months into this year alone, 2021. Summer is the happiest time of year. It's the hottest. It's the most positive. It has the most sunlight. So regardless of where you're at in the world, we're getting there. Summer is regeneration period for everything in the whole entire world. That's how powerful our sun is. That's where these cycles come in. It isn't just, monthly cycles. It's weekly cycles. It's, yearly cycles, everything, centuries. We all know that, but you don't understand until you really look and see how much everything is a cycle within a cycle within a cycle within a cycle, a joke disguised as a religion, disguised as a joke. So this is where the energy gets real for me, because our last leap year was 2020. 2020. We will never forget 2020 will be. 20 years later than the Mayans actually predicted. 4 cycles of 5. Pandemic is created. Concentration camps as like quarantine in our houses. You know, I'm just throwing this out there. Love in the dark times of cholera, COVID. Love in the dark times of COVID. But, you know, scientists were wrong back then. Back then, when we found out this whole Riemann hypothesis, this science is wrong. So now, if I'm following Jehovah, as I so shall, because I love him, I will boast about him. He died for me, he died for you. I am not ashamed. So I'm gonna add that one more. Even though science has told me not to, even though people have taught me not to, because they were taught, because that is how far this vicious cycle of brainwashing has gone. Even though America, God exists, but he fucking don't. Excuse my French, but that is exactly what we've been taught, and I will not stand for it any further, which is why I'm here. I have nothing to get out of this. I don't want anything for it. I just want to help humanity. So let's add one more to that leap year. (2021). (2021), if you add one more. Scientists are telling us we don't have much time left. I'm telling you, we don't have much time left. So I'm going to do the math as they intended. We're going to cross out the 0 because it don't exist. We're going to cross out God because you don't exist. So that leaves me with 2 and 2. These and these and these. 2 and 2. When I do this, (23). Now, I don't know how you're feeling. Maybe you're feeling like me. But I've seen the truth. I'm questioning your truth. I'm questioning the government's truth. I'm questioning everybody's truth. Do not take the bribe. I need your help. God needs your help. You want to know why we've never met him? It's because we've been told that he will rescue us. He will rescue us. But then all they do is continue to keep us down. Keep us down, keep us down, keep us down. No one has told us what I have been told. The more that we believe, it doesn't even matter if we have a vaccination or not. Surrender. It's time to surrender. If you want to survive, it's time to surrender, pretty much. It doesn't even matter if you've had a vaccination or not. It doesn't even matter if you're going to get one. It doesn't even matter what the government tries to do to us from now. It doesn't matter. We just have to believe. We have to be the example. We have to believe and spread that joy, spread the energy, spread that true divination within us true believers that we know for sure from this information that I have now showed you, that I have seen myself, that is shaking out of me right now. The more that we believe, the more that we can accelerate energy, the more that we can excel, eject out of this horrible situation on Earth. Do you want to know why aliens visit us? Because we're slaves to Earth, and they know it. Everybody in the universe knows it. They're trying to save us, trying to rescue us. Hey, come see us. Come find us. There's something better way out here. Area 51, 5 plus 1 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. It's got to be an energy point, and they got to be hiding something. What else are they hiding? They've been hiding the fact that we can believe so much, and faster than the speed of light can God come to us. We can save God. So please, if you have that true divination within you, please help me save humanity. Please believe. Please boast about him. Please manifest. Please, please manifest. I had a huge victory happen for me yesterday. A huge victory. It's very personal. I will not explain it. But this victory is so huge for me. And all I have done is prayed, worked for Jehovah, manifested that it would work out. All I did was ask God after doing this for him in return. Luke 23:46. Jesus used his final voice, saying, I'm committing to you, Father. I'm committing to you. Please help me commit to God today so we can meet him and we can save ourselves from the control on this earth. God is hurting. God cannot get to us. We are past the point of no return. The Earth's temperature, vaccine lottery. You want to know why no one's ever been in the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, 11th, 12th dimension to even be able to repeat history? We are in prophecy right now. The whole world is giving us hints, showing us that the future is telling itself again, just in different ways. You don't believe me? Start doing your history, start doing your research, start doing numbers and numerology and figuring it out. We need to be better. Please share this video. I need every person. Jehovah needs, this is coming from Jehovah. Jehovah needs every single person to stand up, do the right thing, elevate. That's all we need to do is just elevate, and a huge shift will happen. I'm only one person, and so are you. We cannot do this alone. You want to know how Americans are ants? Hopefully this will figure it out for you. We can do this. We can do it. Look at what toxic energy can do. What do you think positive energy can do? Enough for us to be there for our maker, our creator, that you can no longer, it's undeniable now, the undeniable truth. A single mom stuck in her house during the dark times of COVID figured this out because I believe. I know. You cannot tell me otherwise now with what I've seen, and now I'm showing it to you. So please help me. Please help me. Please help me before it's too late. We could have a negative outcome if we allow it. What if we could make a positive outcome happen? How happy would God be then?